first marriage?
My first and hopefully my only. Yeah, I only did it because when she came into she was having a hard time, so we did a 90-day fiance visa to get her in. So we got married 90 days after she came in. Otherwise, I would have just dated. But it's okay. You fight different when you're married because you can't just go, fuck you, get out. Like, you're there. So you got to resolve it faster.
You have to go back to your corner, kind of.
Got to go back to your corner, kind of. I used to have 3 and 4, like I would fight with girlfriends and then they would leave. And then for 3 or 4 days, I would just have hookers come over. Like, it really was an ugly scene. And this is a lot easier, a lot cleaner.
Yeah, does this feel easier? Kind of like, does it feel like you kind of escape? Because I mean, I got like a lot of, I think, commitment issues and stuff like that. And I just feel like, man, at some point I got to escape, like not use marriage as an escape, but I would love to not be kind of trapped just in this stupid circle that I get in sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, it's almost like it's a lonely spiral too. Like I forget, like whenever I get pissed at her, I'm like, yeah, but I was really depressed when I was single. Like I wasn't happy when I was single. I was miserable. I hated being alive. So if I fight with her and I'm like, yeah, this kind of sucks. I'm like, yeah, but it's not. It's me. I'm the problem. Because if I'm single, I'm even worse than I am right now. So no, I don't want to. I like being married. I just, sometimes when you think I'm married, you're like, ugh, fucking life is over. But I'd prefer this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at least you have someone to be there with you in your life. You're like, and you kind of have a donkey to pin the tail and you're like, fucking.
Yeah, the
Nikki.
wife. Yeah, fuck her. What is she? What?
Yeah.
If there's things are wrong, it's my fucking wife. It's also a good excuse though. Like, nah, my wife's not feeling well. I got to go home and see my wife. Like, there's little built-in things that are kind of advantages that I didn't see. And I'm glad I did it because if I didn't do it, I would still be running in the same. That's why I fattened up because I literally am not doing the same things I used to do on the road to get like those little mini highs you get. You know, now I'm just in the hotel room alone. And what do? You order food at 2 o'clock in the morning instead of having somebody come over.
Yeah.
It's not as fun.
So your wife is trans.
Yes.
Transgender,
yes.
Transgender.
Yes.
Okay. And so what does transgender mean exactly? Because people use the term all the time and sorry to go to like such rudimentary stuff, but it means a man and a woman? Yeah,
like you're born in a male body. And, you know, they can't say exactly medically what makes a person transgender. That's why there's so much arguing about it. It's up to speculation. Some people are like, you're just a crazy fucking guy in a dress. And other people are like, no, you're born this way, but they can't tell you medically exactly what it is in the brain. But yeah, she definitely was born in a male body. But if you talk to her for 5 minutes, you know, that's a woman's brain. But I would lose the argument in court. I don't have the argument in court. You know, she definitely does not have a vagina.
Yeah.
You know, no, she's not at all.
Okay. Yeah. And you've looked, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not even a penis. I mean, it's a cock.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Wow. Were you able to discern over time why you liked something so unique, kind of? Like, is that a way to ask it?
You ask whatever you want. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where when it comes to sexuality and attraction, what makes a person like what they like? I don't have the answer to that. It's a pull. It's like you don't choose what direction you're going to get pulled in sometimes. Like for me, attraction has never been like, I'm going to go over there and like that. It's going to be something hits me and I kind of like lock into it. And I feel it, and it pulls me that way. You know what I mean? But
like a piece of art, kind of.
In a way, yeah, kind of, yes. But the living art, one that you can really just, you know, slap against your face. Yeah, art you can sit on.
Dang. Do you ever go places? Now, do you have? Say, if you are dating someone who's trans, do they ask questions like, why do you prefer this? Or is that like something you kind of have to make clear to them a certain way so that they feel okay? Is that
I think it's like any other relationship. It's like like in bed sexually, like fucking or not fucking or that type of stuff?
No, I think even just like on a person-to-person basis, like do I seem like a trophy to you, or do I seem like something like a novelty or like a nice piece of jewelry to, like, you know, this artistic collection piece, or do you really love me because of who I am?
Yes, and I think that any person has to, like, you know, as a guy with money, you have to wonder, hey, does this woman like me because of who I am or because I have money? And with her, she could be like, is it because I'm transgender that he wants a transgender? I think that with any person, you kind of like, you know what somebody's motives are after a while.
Yeah.
And if you're with someone as a trophy, like if I'm just like, hey, I mean, we've been on and off for back together since 2019, so 6 years, and we were a year and a half before then. So by this point, after 7 or 8 years, you know what a person, like I was like, well, does she like me? Does she like me because I have money? But there's a lot of guys that have money, and there's a lot of trans people. So if that's all we wanted, we could easily go out and find somebody else who fit that criteria.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and so you guys live together, huh?
We lived together. I put her up. Immigration was very slow. It was just one of those things where she had something she had to get fixed, and we did it right. But it's just, it's a slow process. So while she was waiting, I moved her to Montreal, and I would drive up and see her. And I wound up spending the whole pandemic there. I drove up. They're going to close the Canadian border, so I drove up one day after the radio show. And I just stayed for 15 months. I was out of the U.S. for 15 months. It was crazy. Doing the radio show from there, it was my first time living with anyone. And it was in the pandemic in a 1-bedroom in Montreal.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, if we can do this, I can make this work. Like if we can, because Canada was even panicky more than the U.S. about COVID. 8 o'clock curfew. They were really crazy up there about it. So I'm like, if we can make it through this, we can be okay in New York and having a life together.
So was that kind of a moment for you where like, okay, this is a big thing that I was able to do, and that gave you because sometimes I question like, how do I get to those next places? I think when you're kind of like, I'm not 40s, I'm single, so it's like, you're like, will I ever get there? What's really going to change? Was that like a thing that really made it kind of different for you?
Yeah, that made it like, okay, this is a real thing. Like I had never done that with anybody in the States, but we were forced to. Because if I came back to the States once, the border was closed, I would not have been allowed back into Canada. So I had to choose between like being in New York or my life with her, like leaving her alone up there we didn't know for how long. So it was kind of like a loaded gun to your head, like you're here or it's over. And doing that, I was just so grateful to be with her and so like grateful to actually have a chance. It was like a test run. You got to do a test run and see like, do I want to be with this person? Yeah. And we got along like way better than I would have thought. And so life here is fairly easy compared to that.
Wow.
But easy in a married way. Like everything people told me about marriage is true.
Yeah?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, you got to answer to somebody. Somebody's in your space. Ugh. Somebody doesn't like the shit I hang on the walls. Like, I don't like answering to a person. No, nobody does.
No. Well, I think it's one of the reasons, especially like with comedy, you just work for yourself. It's just you up there. There's nobody that's telling you. Yeah, the crowd tells you it's fine. I'll accept it from a group. I'm not taking it from one person.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a total space of complete control.
Yeah, and it's very like I like the fact too that like when you're with someone, because we talk about our lives on stage. So like I've been with women who got so angry at me for the things I said about our personal life, and she doesn't care at all, which I love. She loves the stuff I talk about, like our personal life, no matter how embarrassing it is, or how personal it is, or how intimate. She doesn't care. Wow. She's like, great, go ahead, do whatever you want to do. She doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I guess if you're cuddling up at night, I mean, there's people have wieners in the bed.
Yeah. I mean, I have a wiener. Shit, you don't spend $100,000 on immigration lawyers for a dick smaller than yours.
Oh, damn, that's a good point. Huh? Oh yeah, Tara Fett, Trump, huh? I'd love to see him. Wow.
Yeah, she'll like that. A lot of people get mad. Why does he talk about her genitals? Shut up.
Do you notice other men, like if you're around other guys, do you think there's like a lot of curious guys who are into that universe that are afraid to talk about it?
Yeah, they ask questions. I never mind though. Like I'm not, again, and that's why I joke about her the way I do, because she's unbendable with that. She doesn't care. And I couldn't have married a fragile personality. Like
no, not you. No, you've always been very your own way and like aggressively your own way, but also in a kind of, I'm okay with where I'm at. Right?
Yes.
You've never been in this apologetic way about yourself.
No, and you can't, like, you want people to be respectful to your partner when you introduce them, and everybody's been nice, and you don't want people to be dicks, but I don't care what people think. Like, you can't live your life and care what other people think. I have fun with her. She's my favorite person. Like, she's the person I should have married. Like, and do I get guys that are kind of curious? Yes. And I get a tremendous amount of messages from people who are like, hey man, I'm really glad you talked about that because and I don't talk about it in some serious, like, it's like nobody wants to be scolded. Nobody wants to be fucking lectured. Yeah. Just be with whoever you like. Like, you know what I mean? And if you're worried about what other people think and you live your life for other people, you're a weak motherfucker. And then just deal with that fact about yourself.
Yeah, I've had moments in my life where I like didn't have certain girlfriends, I think, because I thought some of my friends wouldn't be impressed with them.
Maybe
it
we've all
bums
been
me
there.
out.
Yeah.
It just bums me out when I look back at it at certain moments, and not like in a self-pity type of way. Like I'm like, but when I look back, I'm like, man, I wish I'd have, because in some ways I am my own person, but in ways like that, I think I don't know. I had some tough times with it, kind of.
But growing up, I think it's kind of common too. I mean, I'm a guy in my 50s now saying this. Like, what I mean? Coming up, when you're a real young guy, it's a little bit different. We're more worried about what other people are going to say about us, and more like, what if that whole tidal wave of disapproval from people. What are they going to say? And after a while, you're like, I've been through it so many times. I just don't care.
Yes.
Like, but I've had fighters even ask me, hey, bro, does she but asking legitimate, not asking questions that they'd be afraid to ask publicly because people would think it was rude, but they're things that they wanted to know.
Yeah.
And I never mind answering that stuff. It's not some giant sacred subject. You just talk about it like you talk about anything else. More people, I guess, now are more comfortable being themselves, because you also it's like, I mean, when I was a kid, I'm older than you, so in the 70s, I got called a faggot all the time. I got beaten up and chased by older kids for doing little sexual things with boys. The word gets out, like, he's a faggot. Like, and it was nasty. So
wow,
it's nice that people aren't being treated that way anymore.
I didn't know that you had that kind of stuff happen. And well, I think kids got called that. Like, I certainly got called shit just for being smart in a neighborhood where it was uncomfortable to know shit.
Yeah.
I
wish it was for that reason, but no, that's not why they called me that. I was nose deep on a belly button. I earned it.
Hey, some people call it penis. Some people call it long pussy.